I would give him an 8.5, no? Because
Yes.
I think the independent foreign policy is the first time that we have formulated a foreign policy where we advance the Filipino national interest, no? It's a realization and an implementation for the first time of a policy that recognizes that the Philippines does not share the same interests even with its historical allies, no? Now, the reason why I'm not giving the president a perfect score is I think he could have played a more active role in advancing the interests of developing nations in general, no? I
Yes.
think he could have been a new Sukarno. He could have been the
Yes.
voice of the developing states, particularly at the time of pandemic. And he would have been recognized by the rest of the developing world as their leader had he opted to. But the president, of course, um, is concentrating on domestic policy, and even his foreign policy becomes an extension of his domestic policy, which has resulted in many gains, particularly in procuring vaccines. No, had we
Yes.
waited for Western vaccines, we would not have vaccinated the 12.5 million Filipinos that we have already vaccinated. No,
Yes. Yes.
so I think when you talk of independent foreign policy, the most tangible result is the fact that we went ahead and had a vaccination program without waiting for the West to help us.
Thank you very much, Secretary Roque. There's another question, very important, that was asked the three analysts, and we would like to hear your views. I asked them what they think about proposals for joint exploration and joint development of disputed territories, because there are news reports former Solicitor General Hilbay criticizing or arguing with Justice Carpio about supposedly Justice Carpio was in favor also of joint exploration and development. The three analysts said they all unanimously agree that it is a win-win thing for the Philippines if we could go into joint exploration and development with China. What are your views about this and any updates on this issue?
Well, part of my research interest when I was an academic was precisely on joint exploration and development, in energy law. And I think it's not new. It is more of the norm amongst OPEC petroleum exporting countries because mainland oil is found underground. And when you talk of liquid substance underground, it does not recognize boundaries. No? So inevitably, all the OPEC members in Saudi Arabia needed to have some kind of a sharing agreement, because although many of them are adjacent states, the oil deposits are also adjacent and don't have boundaries. No, so that's point one. It's not new. It's been resorted to. And number two, of course, we have many international rivers which are also being shared, among states, because no one state can claim exclusively a portion of the river. No? So I think based on human experience, it is the most practical manner to benefit from resources where resources transcend national boundaries and where there are existing disputes that continue to be unresolved. Now, please take note that even Vietnam has signed a joint fishing agreement with China, despite the fact that its rhetorics against China tends to be louder than any other country.
Thank you very much, Secretary Roque. There's another question before to them. Why the political opposition and certain sectors, former Justice Carpio and the others, why do they keep harping on the anti-China political and media attacks? Why not Vietnam? Why not Taiwan? Why not even Malaysia? Because all these countries of our neighbors also occupy many disputed territories. In fact, Dr. Banlawi, the analyst here with you, panelist, sabi ni Dr. Romel Banlawi, Vietnam occupies more islands than China, like 27 yata, sabi ni Dr. Banlawi, China occupies 7. Why all this anti-China attack? And another question related to this one, the last election, the senatorial bets of the opposition used the anti-China attack front and against the president. They even went to Zambales for a publicity event, but that effort failed. Why this? Is it Are you surprised? What is your reaction though?
Well, obviously, they have politicized the issue, and they have gone out of their ways to demonize China, no? Which I
Yes.
think is unfair and unwise. China is going to be the next economic powerhouse. And why should we not benefit from the fact that China is our neighbor? So they have a very myopic view of the world, stuck in the past when the US is the only superpower. No? I've said it before. As Filipinos, we value relationships with our neighbors more so when your neighbor is the up and coming economic superpower. So I think it's a wrong move on the part of the opposition, and it's something that they have probably would find very difficult to live with, given the fact that clearly in a matter of years, China would probably overtake the United States as the number one economic superpower.
Thank you very much, Secretary. And in your video message, you made a very nice remark. You said there's a saying in Filipino, you can quarrel with your relatives very far away, but you cannot quarrel with your neighbor. That's a very, very wise saying for not only countries, but even for persons. We
Ay,
don't quarrel
matagal na.
with our neighbor.
I have heard that many times from my grandparents, and it's something that we have lived with because unavoidably we're bound to have neighbors. No? Makipag-away ka na sa kamag-anak, wag lang sa kapitbahay, because your life will be very difficult if you pick up a fight with your neighbor.
And if you have
Whereas with
emergencies,
relatives,
kapitbahay ang tutulong.
yes, and in case of emergencies, the neighbors, the relatives may be coming from far away, but the neighbor will be next to you.